Shalom, brothers and sisters. Unprecedented Chinese genetic experiment may lead to an army of radiation-resistant super soldiers. The Hong Kong-based South China Morning Post posted their headline this week of a breakthrough announcement by a team of scientists linked to the Chinese military working in Beijing. Chinese team behind extreme animal gene experiment says it may lead to the super soldiers who will survive nuclear fallout. The project was first unveiled by Chinese language journal Military Medical Sciences and has been gaining more and more media attention and interest within the scientific community at large. It's also raising serious ethical quandaries, although the experiment is defended by the overseers as totally legal. According to details, the military scientists say they've successfully inserted a gene from the microscopic water bear, tardigrades, into human embryonic stem cells and significantly increased the cell's resistance to radiation. They said success in this unprecedented experiment could lead to super tough soldiers who would survive nuclear fallout. The initiative involved the experimental introduction into human DNA of a key gene found in the water bear. The gene in question gives the microscopic creature rare resistance to radiation and other extreme environmental effects. Now, if you're into science or you read up on science like I do, you'd know that the little tardigrades or water bears have even been released in space and they survive up there. That's how hardy and amazing those little creatures are. So that's the one point. So I can understand why they're using the tardigrade. But the important thing here as a believer is we're back as in the days of Noah. They are messing with DNA, mixing animal and human genomes, and coming up with hybrids that can be used for their end and what they have planned for mankind and earth and the end game. And that is sick and evil twisting of God's creation. It is not what God intended when He made us in the first place. And this is the kind of messing with creation that led to the mythological stories of centaurs and mermaids and things like that. Every story in history and every mythological tale you hear, somewhere in there is a little filament of truth that it was based upon. That's just how these things roll. So I would say these things go back to the time of when these watchers walked among us, took women from among mankind and cohabited with them and bred giants and gave their knowledge to mankind and messed with DNA and tried to foul the DNA pool so that they could make it impossible for a redeemer to come through a pure bloodline. And now again, they're trying to foul the bloodline and mess it up completely so that there'll be nothing pure left at the end of the day. And it's sick and twisted. But now the next point as well in this whole article is, and sorry if I'm rambling here, there's just so much to unpack. The fact that they're working so hard to quickly get their soldiers nuclear fallout resistant means they have plans to use nuclear bombs soon. And they want their soldiers on the ground fast afterwards. They don't want to wait for months while the radiation clears. They want their people on the ground going in and doing their jobs, taking their targets and making their mark where they're going to use their bombs. And that in itself tells you a lot. That's why their experimentation is at this level already. Then the next thing, and this is again my tinfoil hat, I'll wear it next time, okay, sorry. When they admit to something, like when they admitted to Dolly the sheep, that they'd cloned a sheep, you've got to know and you've got to realize, if you're even halfway awake, that when they admit to something, they're already 10 times further down the path than what they're admitting to because they're testing reactions. So here you go, meet Dolly the sheep, and they were probably already busy with Biden version 1. I'm sorry. These things are facts. They're always talking down where they're at. And it's the same with technology and what they're capable of. It's the same with these kind of experimentations. We're working on, getting them resistant to this. They're probably way further down the line into human trials and testing and everything, which they can't talk about. Who knows what's happening? But you know what? I really honestly couldn't care. I'm glad to see it. I'm watching the trailer. I'm keeping the popcorn warm as we go, because I'm leaving soon, and so are all my brothers and sisters in Christ. And I'm hoping that these messages wake the rest up while there is still time. God bless. Keep looking up. Shalom.